This video and channel is for adult collectors only.
The electrons, they taste so good.
Before we get into the video, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. I mean, come on, what are you doing if you're not subbed to me by now? My content is fire, from stop motions, news videos, reviews, music occasionally. All my social media accounts are linked down below, and now, let's get straight to it. What's up all you beautiful people, thank you for clicking on this video. Welcome to the stop motion review on Legacy Evolution Deluxe class Shrapnel. I gotta say, this is a pretty nice figure with some cool details, but I do have a few issues with it. But looking at all the details on this guy, there's some pretty cool sculpted stuff all over this thing, as always with Generations. The paint is minimal, but it's decent, as you can tell. It's just probably our best look at a G1 Shrapnel, I'd say, and I think Hasbro did overall a very nice job in terms of the look of his body frame. Taking a look at that head sculpt, it's pretty simple but very nice. You got the bright red visor and the silver paint there for the face. There's no paint issues, it's nice and sculpted, and it's accurate to the G1 cartoon. Not much else to say there, pretty good. I do want to talk about the overall hollowness on this figure for a little bit. He's one of those more simplified deluxes. He's teetering on like mini-bot simplicity and like core class simplicity. And, you know, this figure is going on $30, and the amount of hollowness in the forearms and on his forearm blasters, even though the forearm blasters, it looks more like detail, so I don't really mind that hollowness. But on the forearms and on the back of his thighs, I mean, come on, you couldn't fill that in on the thighs or use a extra piece that opens and closes to fill in that forearm gap like they've done countless times on many Generations figures. I just wish, you know, to get an extra value for your money on a deluxe class that's this simple, that they would have filled in the plastic more, but whatever. Now for the weaponizer ports, of course you got the ports on his hands, and then you got two behind his arms, one on his back, two behind his lower legs. The tips of the mandible pieces there are blast effect compatible, so you can plug one of the pew pew pews on there, which is very nice. Would you look at that? You can do that for some electricity effects in robot mode, or for some shooting effects in insect mode, which is very cool. Taking a closer look at his forearm blasters there, they are separate pieces, so you can untab them via 5mm ports. Some pretty nice sculpted detail, no paint on it though, which kind of does suck, but is accurate to the cartoon. You can just plug them on those 5mm ports behind the forearms there, and looking pretty good. It's some nice armory and weapons overall for this guy. 3 guns, I'll touch on the third one soon. You can plug some blast effects on the tips of them to get your pew 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 ablings on. And his third weapon, the big classic silver blaster. It's done in some nice silver paint with some dope sculpted details all around this thing. They did it in purple plastic though, which kind of does have an eyesore to it in certain areas, like the tip of the gun and, you know, places where it's just unpainted. Him holding it looks pretty cool. You can plug some blast effects at the tip of there, which is very nice. You can combine all 3 guns to get this look, which I don't like at all, because that gun just doesn't even tab in at all. It just falls out for whatever reason. It's just such a weak Evo Fusion, which by the way, this is his Evo Fusion ability, which is just so stupid. I just don't like it at all. Size comparison time. Now please don't roast me in the comments, but this is my first ever Insecticon figure, so I don't have any of the other Insecticon buddies to compare him with in this video, so I'll just throw in some other G1 Decepticons and G1 Autobots that you guys, I'm sure, would, I guess, like to see next to this guy, because I don't have any other Insecticons. So first one here, Earthrise Optimus in Origins Jazz, and Thundercracker with Siege Megatron as well. Now to compare him with his cartoon model, very accurate, but obviously, as you can see, they did take some liberties in terms of the sculpted details and just the look of him overall here and there, like they always do with Generations. But this is definitely our most accurate cartoon look for Shrapnel, I'd say. And here's him next to his cutie patootie G1 toy for good measure.
Articulation time!
Now, in terms of his articulation, I do think it's pretty decent, but I just wish there was some wrist swivel up in there. His head was ball jointed instead of just on a swivel joint. I mean, come on, this dude has some simple engineering for a deluxe. I just wish they went a little bit extra with the articulation, but whatever, nothing you can do.
Transmission time!
Bada bing, bada boom, there you go. You got him in his insect mode, simple as that, and looking pretty accurate to what we generally see of Shrapnel in insect mode. Pretty much the same details that you see in robot mode, just, you know, in different areas this time. I do quite like this a lot. It's a very spaceship looking, insect vaguely looking type mode here. You could plug the gun at the bottom in that port and you could have 3 guns over there, which is very cool. You've got siege ports on the robot mode feet back there, and then you have them a little further up to over there, and then you got 2 behind them, and then 1 that you could use for storage of the 30 gun. Yes, you can still plug in those blast effects for some pew 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 abling abilities on the gun and on his pincers there, which is awesome. Now for articulation in this mode, he is pretty much just a space insect brick. All you could do is move the pincers back and forth, which does still make for some pretty cool stuff depending on what you want to do. Now for some size comparisons, I'm just going to do one quick one here since I don't have any other Insecticon dudes. Here's with Ironhide and Bumblebee, looking pretty 80s G1 if you ask me. Here he is next to the show model, and very accurate, but obviously, you know, like it is with all these, some details that are a bit different, some taken from the toy, which anyway, there's the original G1 toy insect mode. No cute little wheels on there on this figure, but some pretty similar details in the paint. Red paint back there is screaming the toy accuracy there, which is pretty cool, I'd say. My final thoughts on Deluxe Class Shrapnel. I gotta say, it's a pretty good deluxe. It's decent. It doesn't do anything out of the ordinary, doesn't do anything amazing. It's just sort of there. But it is a good figure. It's very simplistic, as it should be. You know, the Insecticons, the G1 versions at least, aren't too complex. I just wish there was a bit more articulation up in there, filled in those forearm gaps and thigh gaps a bit better maybe. But other than that, pretty cool deluxe class. If you see him online for retail, I wouldn't really pay anything above retail. If you see him online or in stores, definitely get him if you want to complete your Insecticons. I do want to get some more Insecticons at some point. I do really like them. I've just for some reason been slacking on getting them all. But anyway guys, thank you for checking out this stop motion review. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!